Hey, my lovely Celeb Club family, it's Nova here. Before we start, take a deep breath with me. Because what I'm about to share isn't just celebrity news. It's a story about pride, downfall, and the haunting silence that comes when life humbles you in ways you never saw coming. This is about Diddy, a man once standing at the very top, now clinging to hope in the loneliest place he's ever been. Now, let me tell you something. When a man like Diddy, who once commanded red carpets and luxury jets, ends up begging for an expedited appeal, it's not just about justice anymore. It's about desperation. It's about a man staring through the cold walls of a prison cell, realizing that the empire he built is slipping away one brick at a time. Judge Arun, the man overseeing his case, is not playing games. He's known for being calm but firm, and word is he's not showing Diddy any favoritism. You can almost feel it, the judge's quiet authority, the kind that doesn't need to raise his voice. When he gave the green light for Diddy's appeal to move forward, people thought it was a win. But the truth? It might just be the judge's way of saying, go ahead if you think you can handle what's coming. See, Diddy wanted this appeal fast-tracked. He wanted the court to rush the process, maybe because deep down he's terrified. His sentence isn't long, but every day feels like forever when your world has fallen apart. Legal documents show that Diddy's team pushed for a timeline that would have his first court arguments possibly by spring next year. He's hoping for a miracle. But in life, miracles aren't handed out, especially when you've burned as many bridges as Diddy has. Now, here's where it gets emotional. Diddy's life right now is stripped down to the basics: laundry duty, plain clothes, and the echo of who he used to be. Imagine that for a second. The man who once threw million-dollar parties is now washing uniforms. It's poetic in a sad, humbling way. There's something haunting about that image. A reminder that no matter how high we climb, pride always comes before the fall. Inside those walls, Diddy has found a strange kind of companionship. Reports say he's been seen talking with Sebastian Telfair, a former NBA player. And for a moment, it almost looks like Diddy's trying to hold on to what's left of his old life, connecting with someone who also once knew fame, fortune, and applause. They're said to laugh and chat during their yard time, and pictures even surfaced showing Diddy smiling. But look closer at those photos, and that smile tells a story, not of happiness, but survival. Many wonder how those photos keep getting out. It's strange, right? Each day, new pictures, new headlines, as if someone wants us to see him like this. Maybe it's part of a plan. Maybe it's Diddy's way of saying, I'm still here. But even if he is, the world he once ruled is gone. And that's the hardest thing for any proud man to face, the silence after the applause. Judge Arun allowed this appeal process to move forward, but insiders say it's not out of mercy. It's because the judge already knows what's coming. The process might move fast, but the outcome, it's not expected to change. Think about it. Sometimes life gives us what we ask for, just to show us it's not what we needed. Nova here, your host from Celeb Club, and I want to say this. Watching stories like these unfold isn't about gossip. It's about reflection, about realizing that every choice we make carries a shadow. Diddy once had it all, the fame, the family, the influence, but somewhere along the way he lost sight of humility. And now, in the quiet corners of Fort Dix, he's learning what humility truly feels like. Before we go on, I just want to say something from the heart. Sometimes life doesn't humble you quietly. It shakes you, breaks you, and then makes you rebuild yourself from the ground up. That's where Diddy is right now. Behind those steel bars, stripped of fame, stripped of luxury, and left with nothing but time to think. Now, as this story unfolds, we're learning more about what life really looks like for him inside Fort Dix. Forget the red carpets, the flashing lights. This is a different world entirely. Diddy wakes up early like everyone else. No assistants, no entourage, no designer suits, just the sound of the morning bell and the routine of survival. Word is he's been assigned to laundry duty. Just imagine that. The same man who once wore silk and gold now spends his days washing the uniforms of others. There's a deep, almost poetic sadness in that image. Inmates say he's quiet, polite but distant. Some days he smiles, other days he just stares at the wall, lost in thought. He's made a few acquaintances, including former basketball player Sebastian Telfair, who also finds himself serving time there. You can almost picture it. Two men who once lived fast, now standing under the same gray sky, trying to find pieces of themselves they might have lost along the way. Pictures have come out of Diddy and Sebastian talking in the prison yard. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary chat between old friends, but when you look closer, you see something deeper. A man clinging to what's left of familiarity. Those smiles look rehearsed, like someone trying to convince the world that he's okay. But behind those eyes, you can see it, the weight of regret, the exhaustion of pretending. Now, let's talk about what's really happening behind those walls. Fort Dix isn't a place where fame matters. Nobody cares about who you were out there. Every inmate has a story, every man has fallen from something. It's said that Diddy's learning that lesson the hard way. The privileges of fame fade fast when you're wearing the same uniform as everyone else. But here's the emotional part, and I say this with empathy, not judgment. There's something almost humanizing about what's happening to him. For years, Diddy was surrounded by people who told him he could do no wrong. But when the music stops and the lights go out, all that's left is truth. Maybe in a strange way, this silence is his chance to hear himself again. Now, sources close to the case say that the judge, the very same one who approved this fast-track appeal, has no intention of showing favoritism. Some even believe that by allowing the appeal, the judge is simply giving Diddy enough rope to see how deep his own actions have gone. It's like he's saying, if you want to walk through this door, go ahead, but I won't stop you when it closes behind you. Diddy's opening court brief is due soon. His legal team is working around the clock, trying to paint the story of a man misunderstood. But behind those polished words, behind those expensive lawyers, sits a man who can't escape the truth that his name no longer carries the weight it once did. The court system doesn't care about celebrity, it cares about facts. What's interesting is how the world outside reacts to his every move. TMZ and other outlets keep releasing new pictures of him, like a slow leak meant to remind us that he's still there, still existing, still trying to hold on. But if you ask me, it's not fame keeping him alive anymore. It's fear. Fear of being forgotten. Fear that his story will end in silence. There's a saying, you can't heal in the same place you were broken. Maybe for Diddy, prison isn't just punishment. Maybe it's his mirror. Every day he's forced to see who he became, and who he could have been. And for a man who spent his life surrounded by noise, that kind of silence must be deafening. Now, while he's fighting this legal battle, there's also talk about others from the same circle. People like Russell Simmons, also facing lawsuits, also trying to clean their past. It seems like a season of reckoning for many powerful men who once thought their fame made them untouchable. But you know what? Time has a way of balancing things out. Here at Celeb Club, we don't take joy in anyone's downfall, we look for lessons. And if there's one thing Diddy's story is teaching us, it's this. No matter how far you go, life has a way of bringing you back to yourself. Sometimes through success, sometimes through pain, but it always brings you back. As I close this part, I just want to speak directly to my older viewers, the ones who've lived long enough to know that power, money, and fame can never buy peace. Maybe watching this story unfold reminds you of people you've known, proud, powerful, untouchable, until life humbled them. The truth is, life will always humble us when we forget where we came from. Now, as the days go by inside Fort Dix, sources say that Diddy has changed. The loud, commanding energy that once filled rooms has faded. Instead, there's a quiet man, one who spends most of his time in reflection. He's reading more, speaking less, and seems to have accepted that this chapter of his life will not be short or easy. A fellow inmate reportedly said something that stuck with me. He walks different now, like a man who finally knows the ground he's standing on. There's power in that. For years, Diddy was surrounded by yes men, people who lived off his fame and told him what he wanted to hear. But prison doesn't lie. It strips you down, exposes your truth, and leaves you with only one question. Who are you when the lights go out? The truth is, nobody can say for sure if he's guilty of every claim or not. But what's undeniable is that he's paying the price for choices, for arrogance, and for believing that power made him untouchable. And for someone who built his identity around control, this loss of freedom is perhaps the most painful punishment of all. Now, insiders say that the upcoming appeal hearing is make or break. His legal team is preparing a case built on technical arguments, hoping to lessen his sentence or even move him to a different facility. But those who've watched him closely say this: he's not the same man he was before. There's no sparkle, no swagger, just stillness. And for someone who spent decades being seen, that invisibility might be the hardest part. But you know what? There's a strange kind of grace in that. Sometimes when life takes everything away, it's not to destroy you, it's to rebuild you. Diddy, like many before him, might be facing the hardest truth. Redemption doesn't come from proving you're right, it comes from accepting where you went wrong. Some reports say he's been writing letters, not to fans or friends in Hollywood, but to family members, to people he wronged, to those he lost along the way. They say the tone of his letters is soft, emotional, almost like a man asking for forgiveness without actually saying the words. Maybe this is what healing looks like when the applause stops. Meanwhile, Hollywood has gone silent. The same people who once stood beside him are now distant. Brands, musicians, even old friends have quietly removed his name from their circles. It's the loneliest kind of punishment, being forgotten by the world you helped build. And yet, maybe that's what he needs most, space to face himself. For many of our viewers who've lived through decades of love, loss, and lessons, you know this truth well: we grow the most when we're alone. Fame fades, money comes and goes, but the heart always keeps score. And Diddy's heart right now, I believe, is keeping count of every choice that led him here. But let's not forget something. Every story, no matter how dark, has room for light. There's still time for him to rebuild, to apologize, to make peace with the past. Maybe he'll never stand on a Grammy stage again, maybe he'll never headline a tour, but he can still find redemption. Not in the spotlight, but in the quiet moments when no one's watching. I often think about how the mighty fall, not because they're bad people, but because they forget they're human. And when I look at Diddy now, behind bars, stripped of ego and power, I don't just see punishment. I see a man standing face to face with his humanity for the first time in decades. Maybe when he finally walks free, whether in a few years or longer, he won't come out trying to reclaim his throne. Maybe he'll just want peace. And in a world that never stops talking, silence might be the most powerful comeback of all. To everyone watching this from home, especially my mature viewers who've seen the rise and fall of so many stars, remember this: we are all one choice away from a different life. No one is above consequence, but no one is beyond redemption either. As we close this series, I want to thank you for staying with me through this journey, not to judge, but to understand, because that's what we do here at Celeb Club. We don't chase gossip, we explore the humanity behind the headlines. I'm Nova, and this has been an emotional story of loss, reflection, and maybe, just maybe, the start of healing. Until next time, take care of your hearts, stay kind, and remember, no matter how dark the night, the sun always finds its way back. Sunrise.